Hey y'all, what's up? For today's video, we're going to be doing a soak off along with a new set. So, do you guys remember this set? This is what it looked like 4 weeks ago. The first thing I'm going to be doing is chopping them off, and then we're going to go into filing, and I'm going to be using my fine drill bit, the same one that I'd be using to seal the cuticle and everything, and I'm just going to use it at a high speed. I believe I was using it at a speed of 25. I like to remove all of the acrylic, most of it. So because I do use a thin layer of clear underneath, I know exactly when to stop to where I'm not getting to their natural nail, which is another reason as to why I like to use the clear acrylic underneath. And as you guys can see, it's coming off a lot smoothly. I did speed this step up just because I didn't want you guys to watch me for a whole minute just removing acrylic. The way that I like to do my soak offs is do one hand, I remove all of the acrylic, and then I have them soak that hand into the acetone. And while that one is soaking, I'm removing the product from the next hand. And by the time I'm done filing the other hand and removing all of the acrylic, the first hand's already done. When I have to do a soak off, I like to boil water before my clients get here and put it in a hydro flask so that when we do get to the soaking part, I have everything ready and I don't have to go get up and get it ready. As you can see, I put it at the bottom and then I close it up and add my acetone. It is pretty warm, so I always tell my clients that if it gets too hot, they can get their hands out and then just put it back in. So this is what it looks like after about a few minutes of it soaking. Because I made it so thin, there's not too much buildup and it's real easy to remove. While I'm removing the rest of the acrylic, the other hand is soaking. So by the time I finish with this hand, the other hand should be done, and I go in and do the same exact steps as well. I know some people like to use a cuticle pusher to remove the product. I feel like it's a lot easier to just do it with my sanding bit. It just gets everything out. When I'm doing this step, I'm not focusing on cleaning up the cuticle just yet. My main focus is just to remove the product. I love this step because it looks so satisfying, to see it all come off and how clean her nails are. Once I'm done getting rid of all the extra product, I'm gonna go in and clip her nails. And so you want to be very careful. I always get scared clipping like natural nails because sometimes there's that skin in the back, and if you cut it, they're gonna start bleeding. So you have to be very careful and make sure that you know where the nail ends. Even when it looks like there's extra length, sometimes there's not, there's skin behind it. Always make sure to turn their hand over and see where the skin ends, just to prevent you cutting them and making them bleed. So for this specific client, I do know exactly where her skin ends, so I know exactly how to go around it, but definitely make sure you're keeping that in mind. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my tips on, and I like to dip them into the monomer and wipe them dry. Once they're dry, I go ahead and glue them down, just because sometimes they can be stubborn and they don't want to stick down. This step is not going to give them a chemical reaction because the monomer is already dry when I glue it down. So the only reason why I do it is to just give it that extra texture, and so it adheres a lot faster. I don't know if it's ever happened to you guys where you're adding a tip on and it's very like slimy, it doesn't want to glue down. So yeah, this is perfect for those situations. Now I'm gonna start doing my prep and actually start focusing on cleaning up the cuticle and just blending in the tips. You don't have to blend the tips in, I just like to do so. It's just part of my routine. I also like to file the free edge into the C curve that I like, just because it's like a perfect foundation for your application to be on point and the shape that you want. Honestly, I don't do anything crazy for the prep of my nails. I know I get a lot of questions on how I do my prep, but this is all I do. I don't do anything extra. I don't like go in with any extra drill bits or anything like that. Once I'm done prepping the nail tip and buffing out their natural nail, I go in with acetone as a dehydrator, and I use me a secret primer as well. I also do a thin layer of clear acrylic to protect the primer, just because my clients do tend to move around and I don't like to restrict them and be like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. So in order for them to move freely, I just add my primer, I do the little thin layer of clear acrylic, and while I'm doing the application on one hand, they can move freely with the other and not have to worry about their primer getting lit on it or anything like that. So it's very helpful for both sides. This might also be another reason why my retention is so good, because like I mentioned, I don't do anything extra with the cuticles or prepping. So if you don't do this already, maybe just add this step if you're having problems with your retention. Now I'm gonna get into my application, and for this acrylic I did custom mix it, so I'm not gonna be able to tell you guys what acrylic I used. And y'all, you guys probably think that I be lying when I say I mix them, but I'm not. I genuinely like show them a color, and if I feel like they're not 100% feeling it, I start mixing randomly random colors into it and just like keep swatching them until they like it, and that's how we end up with the colors. So I honestly, I don't know, it's just the way that I do. Maybe I should start recording me doing it so that you guys can kind of see how I mix. But I don't even use like certain measurements, it's all just random. But you guys know the drill. I'm gonna let you guys watch the application and I'll come back once we're on our next step. By the way, it has been really cold out here and raining and stuff. So if the consistency of my acrylic is like more on the wetter side, or it's moving a lot around a lot, it's because of that. I can't really control the temperature in my room when it comes to getting it warmer. I need to buy a heater, but yeah, so that's why the acrylic has been a little funky, but it's all good. I always find a way to make it work. Now we're getting into shaping, and of course I'm using my 60 by 60 hand files. If you guys are interested, go ahead and check them out. They are in the description box below. And thank you guys to everyone who's ordering off of me. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy them as much as I do. But you guys know the drill, going in on the surface of the nail and just making sure that everything is smooth. If you haven't already, I do have a shaping tutorial out, so go ahead and check that out as well. Once I'm done using my hand file, I will be going in with my fine carbide bit from Kiara Sky. It's also going to be linked in the description box below, and just cleaning up the cuticle and also cleaning up the free edge. Like I've mentioned before, when I do my application, I make sure that my cuticle is flushed and just really sealed in. So when it comes to sealing the cuticle, I don't have to do too much. I just go over it very gently. And I think honestly, that's the key to really good retention is your application when it comes to the cuticle. So definitely keep that in mind as well. My client did come in with an inspo for her set that she wanted, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop that right here. So that's what we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna go in with this white from Amazon, and I'm gonna have it linked in the description box as well. And just creating some French tips on all 10 fingers. Once I'm done with all the French tips, I'm gonna get into the design. But before we do the design, I'm gonna top coat it. Because this design is a 3D design, you have to do it on top of the top coat. If you don't and you do the top coat on top, it's not really gonna give that effect. So that's what we're gonna be doing, but I'll get back to you guys once we're on that step. I also forgot to mention we're going to be doing cuticle bling on the middle finger. So I'm going in with my Macart glue and just putting on these small little crystals on there. Do this before I put the top coat because I want to make sure that the top coat helps like seal it in a way. Anything you put on top of the top coat is going to be more prone to falling off. So definitely keep that in mind as well. Now I'm going to be going in with the Koopa matte top coat like I mentioned on all 10 fingers and have her set it for 60 seconds. And then we're going to get into the design. For the design, we're going to be doing these heart outlines, and you want to be very careful with this because, you know, it is white first and foremost, and it's going to be covered in powder. So you're really going to be able to see all the imperfections if there's any. So just take your time with it. I like to go in step by step. So I'll do like a curve first and then I'll connect it. And I don't know, it just helps me keep everything together. So that's what we ended up doing on all 10 fingers. And before you make them set it, you want to go ahead and pour some acrylic on top. So I'm using my Mia Secret clear acrylic to pour over it. And that's what's going to give it that 3D texture look. You don't have to top coat on top of this. Like I mentioned, it will take the effect off. So once you pour the acrylic on top, you can have them set it for 60 seconds and you'll be done. You can wipe it off and everything will be set. and the design will be finished. I also like to do this design one by one, as in I'll do one, pour the acrylic on top, have them set it, and then move on to the next one. Just because I feel like when I don't do that and I try to do them all at the same time and pour the acrylic at the same time, the acrylic kind of, I don't know, blends into the gel polish. I don't know how to explain it, but it just doesn't come out looking the same when I do it all together. So, I mean, if that's how you do it, it's fine. It's just my personal preference. I don't like to do it that way. But that wraps up today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.